Dominated their regional races and course records themselves in very cold conditions, so that will be a factor out here today in their performances.
Well, how about Ryan Hall? He's the other one of the big three, as they've called them. He was one of the certain favorites in the West, but faded a little bit in the end. How do you think he'll run out there today? He's used to hilly courses and maybe warmer conditions.
His self-disappointment in the regional races was due to heat exhaustion, Tony, and it's going to be a factor out here today. He trains at 7,000 feet in Big Bear Lake, California, and it is cooler conditions than typical California, so it may be a factor out here today, the heat for him as well.
Do you think that there's a chance for a surprise to come through and knock someone of those top three out?
That's what these races are all about, so we're going to see how it unfolds today and see how these kids perform.
Well, they're heading to the starting line right now. The West dominated the girls' race. We'll see if the boys can back it up.
Ready at the start. On your mark. Spectacular, young. That's it.
And the boys are off. 32 of the best in the country.
Talented field out there, Tony. The first mile is predicted at 4:25, which is a blistering pace on a hot day like today.
People think it could be the fastest boys cross-country race ever in the 22-year history. We'll get them started. Well, they're already started. We'll have more of it when we return. Welcome back to New Balance Elite Racing, the 2000 FootLocker Cross Country Championships from Walt Disney World Resorts, Lake Buena Vista, Florida. That's number 76, Wesley Keating from Pharr, Texas, 6th in the Southern Regional, taking the early lead. A little bit surprising, since we expected a very strong early pace from our three big-name favorites. A little surprising out there, Dina?
Absolutely. I think the pace looks a little conservative from what we were expecting out here. I think most of the athletes were expecting Dathan Ritzenheim, Alan Webb.
Maybe Ryan Hall to take that lead. Here's a look at our Southern team. Alan Webb from Western Virginia, right at 4 minutes a mile. People are anticipating this summer he'll go under. Also, the very strong Western team, led by numbers 1st and 3rd, Seth Watkins, David Vidal from Flathead High School, the same team from Kalispell, Montana, but that's a very cold training area this time of year. I'm not sure these conditions augur well for guys from Montana, but they could also have all that confidence coming from last weekend's Great West Regional race. Here's a look at our Northeast team. They're led by Seton McAndrews out of Queensbury, New York, running at Van Cortlandt Park in the Bronx to win his division. That's a tough course on a tough day as well. Now we have the Midwest, led by Dathan Ritzenheim, Rockford, Michigan. He's the defending national champion. He's undefeated in cross country since finishing 8th as a sophomore here at the national championships. And he's looking to become only the second man to do the double at the national championships after Abdi Mohammed of Boston, who turned the double in 96 and 97. There's Webb, getting some dust in the face, and these guys are hauling. It's finally gotten to the point where Dathan Ritzenheim, our favorite, has gone to the front, and he's pushing. Not a subtle move.
Not at all, Tony. With kickers like Alan Webb, he cannot afford to let it come down to a kick at the end of the race. He's pushing in the beginning here just before the mile mark.
Boom, 4:47. Here we are thinking a sub 4:30. That's almost 30 seconds slower, and he has really thrown down the gauntlet, and Webb had better start pushing himself if he wants to answer this charge. I was reading an article in Harper's Magazine about big-time poker, and there's certain hands you get when all of a sudden it's chips all in. Well, this is chips all in by Dathan Ritzenheim. This kid's going from here to the line.
He is really pressing out there, and Alan Webb hanging on strong, not sitting, hanging.
He's like a Florida hanging Chad at this point. He ain't dimpled, he's hanging. Right now, it's down to 2 guys.
And these 2 boys have had quite a senior year. They're both undefeated. They both, in their regional races, broke the course records. So it's just a battle of strengths out here today. Dathan Ritzenheim has a strong base leading into the race, and Alan Webb has the speed.
They've never raced one another, but they certainly know about one another. There's Ryan Hall moving up into 4th place. He's more of a mile type along with Webb, so he's got to get up there if he hopes to give Ritzenheim any sort of run for the money. But Dathan Ritzenheim, undefeated over the last 2 years and pared down to nothing but gristle and bone. Time for this month's Coca Close, brought to you by Coca-Cola Classic. Enjoy. We talk to our 2 screaming favorites.
I feel great right now. I bumped up my mileage this summer, and my speed workouts have been a lot faster. So I'm definitely really excited tomorrow's race. I haven't felt this good ever yet, so.
Well, that's scary. Now, when you talk about bumping your mileage, that's such a big part of what, I mean, there's some kids doing 40 and 50 a week, and then other kids are doing, you know, college-level workouts, and that makes a huge difference, especially at this age. So when you say you bumped your mileage up, what were you doing, and what are you doing now?
I bumped from last summer, or 2 summers ago, I was at about 70 miles a week, and now I've bumped it up to, I was running 90 to 95 this summer. So I bumped it up a lot, and then I kept it over the season. I kept it about 15 miles a week higher, and I was probably around 65 miles a week.
For Alan Webb in second place, it's all about contact, knowing that if he stays close, it's his race at the end. And after last year's disappointment at the finals, he too is fully prepared.
Physically, I'm in 10 times better shape. I've built up a huge base over the summer compared to last year. I'm ready for anything right now. I think my training, my coach has worked with me with every aspect that any possibility that could come up at this meet, and we've worked on it and trained for it and look forward to this meet, and I'm excited about putting it all together tomorrow.
That's this month's Coke Up Close. Now 2 miles down from a 4:47 opening mile, Ritzenheim just threw in, blistered a 4:37 second.
Both of these men are catering to their strengths. Ritzenheim is really trying to lose Webb, and Webb trying to hang on. But it looks like Ritzenheim is pulling away slightly.
We'll see if Webb can close it up right after this. Welcome back to New Balance Elite Racing, brought to you by New Balance Performance Athletic Shoes. Achieve New Balance. By Active.com. Click here to sign on for thousands of races nationwide. And by FootLocker. The final stages of the 2000 FootLocker Cross Country Championships from Walt Disney World Resort, the only competitive high school championship in any sport. It's defending champion Dathan Ritzenheim of Rockford, Michigan, driving toward a second title, having put a serious gap on Virginia's Alan Webb. Any chance that Webb can get it back, Dina?
Dathan shows no signs of slowing down, and that could be the 30 extra miles a week that he does compared to the rest of the field.
Yeah, he is just doing so much work, like we said earlier, college-level work, and it's just translating into pure power. He has the course record, 14 minutes and 29 seconds, which he ran last year. He passes 3 miles in 14:05. He's slightly off record pace, it seems, but he is still driving for as fast a time as he can muster. That's what this kid is. He's very charismatic in the way he runs. He reminds me of Alberto Salazar and Steve Prefontaine in that sense. I mean, this guy is all out, as fast as I can go every time out of the box.
He's nearing the finish line, and he's really looking strong, giving it every ounce of energy he can possibly muster to break this record again.
Ritzenheim.
Just missing the record.
14:35. But look at the gap in second place.
Oh, he is really giving it all he can.
Oh, boy, just utter pain and anguish. Except for the fact that he won the national crown.
He looked so composed throughout the race, I'm surprised to see him stumbling through the chute.
Alan Webb in second, 20 seconds back. Ryan Hall in third. The big three living up to all predictions. And in fourth, Charlie Million from Blue Point, New York. Eric Heinonen, Seth Pilkington. That's Chandler Goodwin. And right behind him is Timothy Moore out of Novi, Michigan.
We didn't see a course record out here today, Tony, but the conditions are a lot hotter than last year, where we saw 15 men go under the course record. And Dathan Ritzenheim here on our screen just wiped out an all-out effort by him. Beautiful race.
We saw the same thing last year. This is pretty much a repeat of last year. He finishes the race and he goes looking for turf.
And next year he'll be heading to the University of Colorado, where he'll be coached by Mark Wetmore and join the 1998 FootLocker champion George Torres.
Quick look at the results, and we finally dragged Dathan to his feet. Tell me the difference between the feelings of winning last year and the feelings of winning this year. Last year, a tad of a surprise. This year, no surprise at all. But how does it feel to you?
It's just as great as the first time. I mean, I never felt anything like this at FootLocker, and Adidas put on such a big meet. It feels like the Olympics or something. And to win it with these great guys in the comeback of distance running, and I think that it just feels awesome.
With their hearts, their strongest muscles, they run with the passion, dedication, and desire of champions to fashion one of the most